Thank you for coming. What we're going to basically do is I'm going to speak and comment, hit some bullet points, and then introduce our attorney, who is also former assistant state attorney from Miami-Dade County, who has taken so many of our cases in that county, no different than the cases here in Lee County with illegal slaughterhouses, horse slaughter issues. Then for our Spanish audience, we are going live. She is going to make a few comments, roughly 5 or 10 minutes, for the Spanish-speaking audience and networks that are tuning in at this time. What I can tell you to lead off with is I have been dreading this press conference for years. We have been undercover in Lee County for years. The reason being is we started receiving emails from residents of Lee County stemming from lack of enforcement for animal cruelty issues in your county, with suspicions of horse slaughter, suspicions of illegal slaughterhouses operating openly to the public in greater Lee County. After reading these emails, I personally came into Lee County and entered the first address that was given to me, titled Rancho Santa Barbara in Fort Myers, Florida. Very quickly, I saw violations. Everything stemming from environmental, animal cruelty, animals being butchered and they're sold illegally meat throughout your community, uninspected, unadulterated meats. Very quickly, I looked across the street and I saw another sign titled Rancho Delicious. I entered Rancho Delicious, and it was worse than Rancho Santa Barbara. What are they doing at Rancho Delicious? They are aggression training dogs for illegal fighting. They are killing horses for the illegal meat trade in Lee County. They are butchering all types of animals, everything from pigs, goats, to chickens, to cows, for human consumption for your greater public here, again, in Lee County. In 2016, I ended my investigations along with our undercover operatives and quickly met with Lee County Sheriff's Department in your greater area. The first thing out of Randy Hodges, who's the sergeant of your agriculture crimes unit, was that law that ARM helped put into place, that we helped actually write, stemming from our horse meat undercover investigations in Miami. That law is creating havoc in our community. It is giving us a large surplus of unwanted horses, and is creating a lot of work for me. Randy Hodges, stemming from that statement, is pro-horse slaughter, whether it's legal or illegal. Now, we have shown throughout our investigations in the state of Florida how violently these horses are being butchered. And your agriculture crimes unit could care less. The crimes unit that is put into place to protect your farm animals here in Lee County. I left that meeting with serious concern. Later on, he said he submitted the cases to the Lee County State Attorney's Office that later denied the case due to, what did they deny the case to? No animal cruelty found in our videos. Anyone who has seen these videos this morning, much of that video was shot in 2015, 2016. How incredible of a statement to make, that no crime was committed, no animal cruelty, that these animals did not suffer on these two operations. Time went by, and what happened? 2 more operations opened. Rancho Cabrera and Rancho Roman. Rancho Roman is tightly connected to Rancho Delicious, their family members. Now we have a serious issue due to lack of enforcement in Lee County of not 2 slaughterhouses running openly to the public, but 4. A community of illegal slaughter, a community of illegal fighting, a community of illegal horse slaughter operating openly in Lee County. Again, enforcement having awareness of these crimes since 2016. False promises started coming into ARM. We started having additional meetings with the state attorney's office. Cameron Ziggs Cameron Ziggs, after I pressed play in that formal meeting, along with the Lee County Sheriff's Office, said, yes, those are crimes, those are violating state law, and I will take this case and I will prosecute. But a comment was made on that same very video that no crime has been committed to those animals. Very soon after that, we started sending emails wondering when the farms would be raided, when the animals would be rescued, when the perpetrators, the violators, would be arrested and prosecuted. Nothing. Everything stayed silent. And then excuses started to come in more to ARM, both through emails, right here. Over 1,000 emails coming in and out referring to ARM in this investigation from 2015 to today. Documented, by the way. The excuses not for taking our case are as follows. No animal cruelty found. That was an excuse in beginning of 2016. ARM hasn't ID'd the suspects. We actually did. All of the main players were ID'd. The owners of the establishments, the butchers, the people selling the horse meat have been ID'd by ARM investigators. Some of the ARM investigators, by the way, are ex-sheriff deputy detectives, seasoned, formerly retired from different counties in the state of Florida. These people know the law, and they were expecting enforcement, which never came. Some of the most violent players connected to the Miami-Dade underground horse meat trade. These people are relocating from Miami-Dade, Florida, due to the enforcement by Catherine Fernandez-Rundle, the state attorney of Miami-Dade, and by the enforcement of the Miami-Dade Police Department. They are cracking down, as we all know. Over 100 slaughterhouses, illegal slaughterhouses, all investigated by the Animal Recovery Mission, working with the law enforcement, working with the state attorney's offices. These properties have been raided, animals rescued, violators prosecuted, and in many instances, the entire properties bulldozed to the ground to make sure they're not reopening. Have we seen that in Lee County? Of course not. What is happening in Lee County? These violators are now moving to Lee County because of lack of enforcement. I know this because I'm the person that's been undercover here in this county for 3 long years. I've had to sit and watch these animals be butchered alive and be friends with these disgusting people because of your sheriff's department and your state attorney not taking action. How disgusting. They are filled with excuses and reasoning that is unbeknownst to anyone. It is ridiculous excuses not to take these cases. We have sat with police departments and sheriff's offices throughout the state of Florida and active prosecutors showing them this evidence. They are beside themselves, wishing that they had these cases. Excuse after excuse. Animals are being stolen throughout the state and Lee County, particularly Miami-Dade. That's where all of these people are from, such as Aimee, owner and controller of Rancho Delicious. Listen to that name, Rancho Delicious. Some of the most horrific crimes I have ever documented here in Lee County by this woman and controlled by this woman. Her identification given to the Lee County Sheriff's Office and the Lee County State Attorney's Office for prosecution. Nothing. I've given them this woman's information 2.5 years ago. Nothing. Animals being stolen cross county lines and into your area to fuel the horse meat trade, to fuel dog fighting, to fuel animal fighting, to fuel black magic, voodoo, santeria, palomayombe. Not just chickens and goats are being sacrificed for these religions and sold in these establishments, dogs, domesticated animals, and horses. I've purchased horse meat here numerous times, yes. I helped with the language and writing the Good Horse Slaughter Act, which now has been renamed. I helped go to Tallahassee and sit with state senators to get the law passed. It is all based on my work, on the Animal Recovery Mission's work. Numerous arrests have been made all over the state of Florida in many different counties, stemming from ARM's undercover work in horse meat buys. Later, working with law enforcement and doing undercover meat buys with them. People have been arrested, farms shut down, animals rescued. Okay? Not here in Lee County. The horse killers are roaming free here. Actually, the state attorney has threatened to make arrests on myself for coming to his county and investigating animal cruelty crimes, for going undercover and buying horse meat supposedly illegally. Although, he's known of my actions for some time, and in 2017, in June of 2017, I got a call from the Sheriff's Department stating our undercover narcotics unit cannot buy horse meat. We've failed. They do not know how to do it. You are the expert. Please come and do a joint operation with us to buy the horse meat to get the charges. Went and sat with the undercover narcotics unit. Halfway through my paperwork, with 20 officers surrounding me, they stopped it. They said, "You are no longer suitable for this operation." Not understanding why, I was furious with my undercover investigator, stating, "There's no danger. We're ready to go. It'll take 15 minutes. We went into the farm anyway, after them denying us to work with them, and we bought the horse meat, which came back positive equine. We submitted this to the state attorney's office and to the sheriff's office. Deaf ears. Nothing. No action. They're also stating that we violated recording laws in the state of Florida. This is something we are experts on. We covertly record on a weekly basis and have done so for over 10 years, leading to arrests in roughly 7 different counties in the state of Florida. They're saying we violated. There is no expectation of privacy when you are going in to an opened business, advertising street side, where you could actually stand on the street and witness the brutality and the butchering alive of the animals, surrounded by 20, 50, at times 100 other customers. There is no expectation of privacy there. I've been threatened with arrest on violating audio laws. That's never happened before, I can assure you. That we've tampered with evidence. We had a meeting with the state attorney's office mere months ago. Larry Justum, who was second in command at your SAO, now is in charge of the case. This is Larry Justum right here. He is what looks to be a trophy hunter himself. A trophy hunter has the case for the state attorney's office of Lee County. He's in charge of our case. Randy Hodges, he's in charge of the case for your agriculture crimes unit for the Lee County Sheriff's Office. Another hunter. These are people that have been denying our case for years. Saying aren't tampered with evidence. We had a meeting and Larry Justum said, please resubmit these cases because the prosecutor who had this case in the past basically went rogue. He shouldn't have had this case, although he was under Larry Justum's control and authority. Please give us these cases once again, but it would be great if there were no audio included in any of the cases. Some of our visits had no audio, okay? Some did. When we were in a private setting with these individuals, they had no audio. We would turn the audio off. But when we were there with 20 to 100 people, we were recording audio. At Larry Justum's basic suggestion, we submitted all of our cases with no audio, basically taking out half of our evidence, okay? Then Larry Justum, mere weeks ago, I believe it was a week or two ago, said that armed tampered with evidence. We were guilty of that crime, another felony. Larry Justum and the state attorney's office of Lee County are focusing the crimes being committed by ARM, an organization that has come in and given a service to the community of Lee County. The state attorney, law enforcement does not investigate horse slaughter, and they don't know how. They do not go undercover in animal fighting, animal slaughterhouses, animal torture operations for an extended period of time. We do. We are funded for it. We have the budget for it, and we're good at it. We've closed 140 of these operations since 2010 in the state of Florida. Let me point out, Miami-Dade County sees at times horses being dumped on the road after being butchered. What are you seeing in your community now? Horses being butchered and dumped on the sides of your road. No one knows where the horse carcasses came from. I can assure you they came from Rancho Delicious, the farm that is operating openly now. As I speak, these 4 farms are up and running in your community. They are butchering animals alive. They are skinning them alive. They are drowning them in boiling water. They are fighting them. They are aggression training them. We were there this morning. I was there last night. I pulled a dog, a German Shepherd, out of Rancho Delicious that was going to be sacrificed. I pulled him out last night. He's being treated by our veterinarians now, as we speak, with multiple contagious diseases. Hopefully, he will make it. There are other dogs in there now, as we speak. All because of the State Attorney's Office of Lee County. All because of the Sheriff's Office of Lee County not taking action. They're not taking action in this case. How many other cases are they ignoring in your community? How many? It is disgusting. I am emotional. I am. I have been undercover here for 3 long years witnessing this. It is tragic what is happening in Lee County. If we had more people like Catherine Fernandez-Rundle and other state attorneys throughout the state of Florida, this would not be going on here. What is going on with your local government? Children are being brought into these establishments. They're being forced to witness animals being skinned alive. Are you kidding? Your authorities have seen this, and they've witnessed this and been told this. They've been given statements by us. No action. The Sheriff's Department refused to even take our statements. We had to write out our statements ourselves of witnessing these crimes and get them notarized, which will hold up in a court of law. Your sheriff's office wouldn't even take the time. How incredible. To conclude, I want to remind all of you, as I speak here, the animals, these farms are opened for the public right now. You will see the signs. You will see the animals. You'll see the horses and the ponies. As we speak, because of lack of enforcement here, some of the worst animal cruelty crimes in the United States are happening right next door. This is the worst animal cruelty case in history of Lee County. We can do a Q&A after. I'm going to introduce now Jason Pizzo, who is our attorney. He's also former assistant state attorney of Miami-Dade County, major crimes. He has taken many, many of our cases in the past and is very educated on the issue.
Good morning. I stand here just to give a little bit of a history. I'm originating from the 11th Judicial Circuit. It's Miami-Dade County, where the state attorney is Catherine Fernandez-Rundle. And in Palm Beach County, in the 15th Judicial Circuit, where ARM also had a case in 2016. The canon of ethics for a prosecutor dictates that you have a good faith basis, that you believe that you can prove beyond a reasonable doubt any evidence that you obtain, and that evidence that you've obtained was done so lawfully and in good faith. And so we sort of had the playbook for Lee County, and I attended a meeting with ARM and the state attorney's office here in Lee County with Mr. Justin. We expressed to him that at first blush you'd jump to 3 things. You think about the Fourth Amendment, one's expectation of privacy in their person, their places, and their papers. Then there are some states and some confusion in Florida as to whether or not there are ag-gag laws. Florida does not have an ag-gag law. In 2011, the dairy industry attempted to pass it, and the ag-gag basically speaks to whether or not you can use undercover video basically to intercept a video and use it in prosecutions and for protection of whistleblowers who may be working inside that. So Florida, again, check it off the list, does not have ag-gag laws. Finally, there is a wire interception, Florida statute 934, specifically .04. And it's basically a 4-part test of whether or not you intend to use a device, you actually use a device, and then using that device you transmit or disclose. And very often those cases involve the wire or oral interception of any evidence that may be used and therefore is prohibited to be used at trial. Having exhausted all of those good faith bases for any defense or any evidence that might be thrown out, you're presented with what evidence you do have. In February of 2016 and provided to the State Attorney's Office here in the 19th Judicial Circuit, we provided a ruling from a judge in Palm Beach County specific to an arm case, which said that businesses open to the public, where there's basically a tacit invitation to the public to be customers, there is no expectation for video recordings. And there's an old Latin phrase that's res ipsa loquitur, the thing speaks for itself. There's nothing oral or intended to be intercepted that was oral or audio on behalf of ARM to implicate anyone in any crime. The animals being tortured and being abused and other evidence that was taken in video recordings speaks for itself. We had attempted to assist locally here so they didn't have to rewrite the playbook and do all the research. Because as Mr. Kudo explained, tragically, as we stand here, animals are continuing to be abused. So we wanted to sort of jump to the head of the line to say you don't have to reinvent the wheel, and it fell on deaf ears. As for any legal aspects, the Florida statute is 828 for animal cruelty, and along with Mr. Kudo, I'm happy to answer any questions if you have about the legal issues.
These are private individuals who haven't been charged with crimes. What is your liability on naming them and holding up pictures of them for television cameras?
The good faith basis of ARM, if your question is specific as to if we're placing these people in danger, or are we implicating them without them?
You're implicating them in a crime that they haven't been charged with. They're private individuals who have not been charged with crimes. And you've just shown their pictures and named where they are, and what is your liability there?
Those photos that are being shown of people who have engaged in what ARM believes and knows objectively to be animal cruelty.
But ARM is not law enforcement.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So what is your liability for showing those?
The liability is if they have a case against ARM for defamation or libel or slander, that they believe that their likeness has been posed to the public for what's later found to be not wrongdoing or illegal activity. And that's what ARM assumes every investigation that they perform.
Why are you willing to risk that?
Risk what?
The exposure to liability for slander.
If this was their first case, if this was their first investigation, it'd be a valid question. And in fact, I have myself had cases where individuals were identified without a fact finder, without the process of law taking place. But if you run up against a wall where you know and honestly believe felonies to be continuing to occur, and you've exhausted all of your law enforcement aspects, very often the diligence of people like you lead to the successful investigation and arrest and prosecution of these individuals.
I read the case notes from the state attorney, and they had experts at the University of Florida review the videos who said there's no animal cruelty happening here. But yet you guys say there is animal cruelty happening here. What do you say to that?
So the last case that I had with ARM was a few months ago, and we found ourselves in Okeechobee. And you may recall that they uncovered several dairy farms that were abusing the animals. The owners of those dairy farms have their names on some of the buildings of that university.
Okay.
Also, I'd like to comment on that as well. We had a licensed veterinarian from the state of Florida look over this case and deem that, yes, these animals were alive while being butchered. They did receive serious cruelty. They were not unconscious while they were being skinned, while they were being gutted. Okay, this was signed by that veterinarian and handed to the state attorney's office and to the sheriff's office.
So you believe your veterinarian and your expert has better insight into this than who the state attorney's office went to at the University of Florida?
I would argue that's a question of fact for a jury to decide.
Okay. What do you want to happen now? And why did you just come forward in this press release now if you've known about animal cruelty for 3 years?
We at the Animal Recovery Mission have been given false promises for years. Some 1 month after the other, some 6 months to the next. We were actually, after some promises, we were actually waiting for the properties to be raided. So remember, we are from Miami. We have to travel long distance to get here. So we would come here periodically and the farms would still be open. We would have to then go back, send emails back and forth to the state attorney's office, to law enforcement. At times, they would wait weeks or possibly even months to get back to us. Then state, yes, there are crimes. We are looking into it again. The cases are opened. Then they would call me to go undercover to get horse meat, to conduct horse meat buys with them. That is the reasoning for it. We would have to submit the cases all over again. Then they would be denied for another reason. It's really that back and forth game. And I can assure you, I should have had this press conference 2 years ago.
I just have one final question, and maybe I'll ask questions. What about potential federal violations. What have you heard from the USDA?
I call the USDA. I work undercover with the USDA, and I've done so for years. We've done undercover horse meat buys, so on and so forth. We've asked the USDA to go undercover with us instead of your narcotics unit to collect evidence. Larry Justum said that that seasoned federal investigator may be charged with a crime if he buys horse meat with me. We've done this in the past in Lee County and other counties. Those people have been sentenced and charged with crimes.
But now by releasing this, haven't you just damaged any potential USDA investigation that they could conduct?
We have not. It's done. It's complete.
Okay. Do you expect the USDA to take action?
The issue with the USDA is this. They have to issue a warning letter, which they've done. Okay, they've done it to Rancho Roman. Then they have to wait for a grand jury to be created. It will take years for these establishments to be shut down under the authority of federal agencies. The power that your county has, the power that the sheriff's office and the state attorney has of Lee County is that this can be shut down in a week. Now let me ask you, the evidence is here. They know the crimes that are being committed on the farms. They have agreed with that. If they won't take our evidence, why haven't they taken undercover narcotics agents, put them in plain clothes, and gone into Rancho Roman, Rancho Cabrera, Rancho Delicious, and Rancho Santa Barbara to witness the crimes being committed, not to the horses, but to the other animals? We send agents, undercover investigators in that do not have relationships with these individuals. This Christmas, on December 23rd, every single farm that they walked into, they didn't buy an animal. They just stood there and witnessed the brutality. They've got minimum of 50 felonies in 3 hours. The sheriff's department couldn't conduct that type of investigation. It's 3 hours. In 3 hours, you have the evidence. The next day, they can issue search warrants and arrest warrants and make arrests and shut down the businesses in less than 24 hours. That has not happened. I've given them the busy days. I've given them the information. Here, you won't take our case? Please conduct your own. They have not done it. Why? Your agriculture patrol unit is chasing around stray horses and stray cows. They can't get in plain clothes and walk into one of these establishments on a busy day. They're sending code enforcement in there. Code enforcement was at Rancho Delicious this morning, stating there was too much garbage here. It's ridiculous.
What should not get lost in all of this is animal recovery mission's paramount concern are the safety and welfare of animals. They've waited 3 long years, demonstrated some patience to exhaust all of the processes that they're supposed to. Of paramount concern is the safety and welfare of the animals. They don't have pride of authorship, and they're less concerned. It's a secondary concern as to whether or not these people are prosecuted. If they could be guaranteed that the operation, because of your exposure, because of your reporting investigation, will be shut down right now, so be it. It's sort of a bonus or a justice to society and the community if there are prosecutions and arrests, but it's the safety of the animals. So if there's operations shut down because you all air it, and whether it's shame, embarrassment, or fear of prosecution in the future to them, that they cease these opportunities, they cease these actions, then great.
You think they're going to arrest you for these felonies they say you committed?
I do not know. Larry Justum in a meeting said that I wouldn't be arrested, although soon after that, he contradicted himself and listed the amount of felonies that I have committed in your community. So I truly do not know.
When was that warning letter to the USDA sent? Like a specific date?
I can get a copy of it and share it with you. The statement from the USDA was done roughly, I would say about 9 months ago. Again, it could take 2 years or longer for the USDA to react. But what I can say, which I've forgotten, is that these are violent criminals, okay? Since we've been undercover in Rancho Delicious, one has been arrested for a workers' comp scheme, stealing over $1 million, okay? Another farm, Rancho Anthony Roman, co-owner, has been on probation, violating probation, and was just arrested on new crimes. He's now in jail, or if not, or in prison. Osmani, one of the most violent animal killers that we've ever been undercover with. Again, Osmani from Miami, while being a butcher and while we were undercover with Osmani, was arrested for violent crimes in a neighboring county and is awaiting prosecution there. These These are criminals we're dealing with. These are not someone that anyone in Lee County wants as a neighbor. Yet, they're out roaming free.
Just to clarify, don't slaughterhouses have to be inspected regularly and licensed by the USDA?
They do have to be inspected. The 3 of these are illegal slaughterhouses. They have no business license, they have no insurance, they have nothing, okay? The one business that is considered a custom exempt slaughterhouse is Rancho Delicious. A federal vet goes into a custom exempt slaughterhouse once a year. They have an appointment. They will make
They have notice.
They have notice. They will have one animal killed in front of them. They'll oversee the facility to make sure it's clean, and they'll leave. The problem is that the moment that veterinarian leaves, everything goes back to normal. The violations begin again. And if you've seen the videos in Rancho Delicious, you will see how vile the killing is, how disgusting, how unsanitary the laws are that are being broken there.
There's at least one, maybe 2 cafes, restaurants called Rancho Las Delicias. Are they connected?
We are not certain. What we do know through our investigations at Rancho Santa Barbara, that some of your butcher shops and smaller grocery stores are coming in and are buying meat from these facilities. And I would assume selling them at their butcher shops.
Do you have a list of those, the
We-
places that are buying?
We actually have one of the trucks on video in Rancho Santa Barbara, if you do watch that video. The address and the name is right on the truck, with them loading pigs into that truck.
This may be long, but can you please list every state or federal statute violated so we can reference them? For instance, some people don't know that, horse meat is illegal. Can you reference those statutes so we know?
We have that in our notes. We can give that to you. I don't know the exact statute number. I know it was passed in 2010. The animal cruelty laws.
Florida Statute 828. Florida Statute 828 deals with cruelty to animals.
So there's going to be like a whole list of.
A whole number based on aggravating factors listed from misdemeanors all the way down to felonies, and involving different classification and categories of animals as well.
How many times did you guys visit each farm?
Countless. Remember, I had to keep up relationships with these individuals, thinking that enforcement was right around the corner, thinking that they would take our charges. You have to understand that to write a search warrant, it has to be a fresh crime, right? So which is the reason why I kept relationships with these farms. So I would go in many times just to hang out with these people. Remember, I'm a close friend of theirs. They are now finding out who I am. I was with them last night.
Have you documented a number of times you went?
The exact number I have not, but hundreds.
Are you living in Lee County too?
I am not.
Okay. You guys mentioned that horse carcasses have been dumped and found. That's really strange. I
The
would
local-
never expect to see that.
Yeah.
We've never gotten calls that there's dead horses on the ground in public places. Can you name specifically where you found these?
We have copies of the articles. You have reported on it. All of your networks have reported on horses being butchered and their carcasses being dumped on the side of the roads and canals. We have copies of those, but mainly it's in Lehigh Acres. Lehigh Acres is not far from Buckingham Preserve.
So in the course of your developing this friendship relationship with these people, what attitudes did they have toward the animals? I mean, is this a
Extremely violent. They are extremely violent in every aspect of handling these animals, in the butchering process. They're slaughtering animals in front of other animals. They're not giving food or water. The animals are being forced to drink blood of their newly slaughtered friend. It sounds corny, but it's true. There is no care whatsoever. It is dramatic, and there are misdemeanor and felony crimes on how the animals have been handled and or housed as well.
How much money are they making? Like, what does a pound of horse meat go for?
We're buying it here because a lot of horse meat is being sold. It's cheaper. We're buying it for anywhere from $4 to $7 per pound, depending on the cut of the horse. Racehorses, tattooed thoroughbred racehorses, are also being slaughtered here. So I have seen identification tattoo numbers on the inside of their upper lips.
Have you recorded those? Do you have any? Because you can trace them.
with the certain camera that I had, I couldn't, and it was too quick. They did not want me looking at that tattoo number too long.
You confirmed that one was a thoroughbred on the video then?
Correct. One of the thoroughbreds is on the video of Rancho Delicious. And later on, unfortunately, after that horse was butchered, that meat was tested by ARM-positive equine.
So you've done these kinds of investigations in the past. How does it usually go once you do the review? What do we expect to happen in the next few days?
You won't expect to happen what we've seen in Miami-Dade, Palm Beach, Broward, and other counties. In those counties, strict enforcement, swift enforcement happens. We work very closely with law enforcement. We give statements. We help them put a strike force together, whatever agency has enforcement on those particular operations. One morning, they'll go in. It will be led by SWAT. Arrests will be made. Then our sanctuary division will come in once the site is secure. And our veterinarians, our doctors, our animal handlers will rescue the animals right alongside of SWAT and police and take them to our other division, Armed Sanctuary, an amazing 100-acre property where all of the animals go for life. Now, we thought that we were prepping for your animals to come to Armed Sanctuary, to live forever. We do not sell these animals. We treat them like gold. The pens that we've set aside for them are empty. They are now in your slaughterhouses, which I'm hoping that your cameras will view and record when you leave here. Please, go to the operations. Video these poor animals standing behind rusted out gates.
You think they'll let us in?
You can video from the street side, ma'am. They are right there. They are right there.
So, again, I'm asking you to speculate. If you could characterize the culture of the Lee County Sheriff's Office, is it just because some of them are trophy hunters? I mean, why has there been this hesitance to,
I do not know. I wish I could get into the mind of some of your county officials. I cannot answer that.